Going on? Welcome back. Give it a stretch. Okay. I'm gonna try probably make this one a quick one because I've gotten into like a rabbit hole of like researching stuff about properties and things and trying to find out about stuff. Trying to find this person's email, a realtor who you'd think their work email would be out there for people to email them about property, right? I don't know. I am working on that. So want to get this over with. All right, so I wanted to talk about this thing that I came across. I was like, oh, this is pretty dope. So, for folks that may not know, let me add that, save that, share the screen. So, I'm a fan of Astro, and I use it as like a framework to start up a few of my previous, more recent projects. Because for me, it just gives me like everything I need to kind of just get started quickly, right? And they have a new version, 4.2. And so here's a blog post. I added a link to it, so it'll be next to the recording of the video. And yeah, this came out like 3 days ago. So shouts to all these folks here. And I'm not gonna go through the whole thing because I was like reading through it, and my eyes caught attention to one new update, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" I went down yet another rabbit hole towards that. So, but it says Astro 4.2 is now available. Super dope. This release includes new experimental features to try out, improvements to accessibility rules, which is great, the ability for Remark plugins to customize image optimization in Markdown. So I guess if you writing your like your post or whatever in Markdown, you're able to somehow, I guess, include images, and then those images will be optimized for, I guess, probably like like screen size and all these sorts of things, so that they will load quicker in your Markdown, which is dope. And then many more improvements and bug fixes. Cool. So I was reading through here, and I got to the first one. Oh, by the way, this marks the first Astro release of almost all community built features, with only one highlight brought to you by an Astro core maintainer. So shouts to everybody putting in work in the community for Astro. That's dope. This is a huge milestone for us, as it means that Astro is now big enough to have a thriving community of contributors capable of spearheading releases. Thank you to everyone who contributed to this release. Shouts to everybody. So, and they're talking about how to upgrade, but here, this is where I got stuck, right? This is where I veered off the road. And so, pre-rendering pages using the speculation rules API. I was like, speculation rules API? What name so? So, thanks to this person, Ross Rubino, Astro's prefetch, which is a thing that they had, now has experimental support for pre-rendering pages using the currently Chromium exclusive speculation rules API. And then this link leads to Mozilla Developer Networks. And we're going to take a look at that because that's where I got not trapped, but stuck on. This API allows you to pre-render pages on the client and even run client-side JavaScript on pages that the user is likely to visit next. So that's the whole speculation thing. Allowing for a faster browsing experience. I was like, oh, so basically, I think this is like, I don't know. I was kind of reading. I got to read through it more, but at least on the Astro implementation, it says that you can set to be like, hey, I want you to pre-render these pages. So the initial page loads, and then with your speculation rules, you can say, hey, these other pages, I would like for you to pre-render them in the browser. Render these things. Normally, you're rendering these things on the server, but it's like render this in the browser so that if somebody clicks on it, it loads that much quicker. And it says it even does client-side JavaScript in the browser running on it, but like behind the scenes. And so it's kind of like with like web workers and like off-screen canvas, which I've not really got to play around too much, but that seems pretty awesome as well. But kind of like that thing, which is kind of amazing. And then you can like then I was reading ahead, but you can also set it to where like, hey, they may go to this page. So this speculation thing. Cool. Then to enable this feature, add the following to your Astro config MJS file, right? You just add this, and that's all. It's just the prefetch true, which I think is there already. Like you can do that already, right? But it's the experimental part where it does the speculation rules. And so I guess they already, because in the speculation rules API, you set your speculation rules. But I'm guessing this has been tuned for specifically Astro and the way Astro works so that it's optimized for that. I'm assuming. I haven't looked into it. So this will respect your existing prefetch configuration options, but will now pre-render, because two different things, pre-render and prefetch. All links with the data Astro prefetch attribute on the client instead. All right. Cool. A built-in fallback is provided for browsers that do not yet support the speculation rules API, which I would think if it didn't support it, then it would just act like normal, right? But we'll take a look at the Mozilla Developer Network page. Additionally, you can use the document.pre-rendering property in script tags to check whether the page is being pre-rendered. Okay. So if you have a page and you want to check to see if it's being pre-rendered or not, because I wonder if there's still like a window object or like a document object if it's being pre-rendered. Again, these are things I'd have to like play around with. This is my first time actually like hearing about this. And then you can check out their documentation here, which I did not even see. Let me check that out and share this tab instead. So this is the documentation for the Astro pre-rendering. Save this link so you can check it out for yourself. And yeah, okay, wait, where'd it go? Did it go to it? Did it go to it? Here's the prefetch. I don't think it went to the pre-rendering. Okay, here we go. Pre-render. Yeah, I didn't jump down to the page. So here we go. So yeah, it's a type Boolean. Cool. It's added in 420. Yeah. So the same stuff there. Cool. Okay, now that's it. And then we can check out the prefetch guide for your original, like stuff you could have done before. Again, just prefetch true. And then you have like different things. So yeah, depending on if it was like hovered, tap, viewport load. Pretty dope. All right, so that's all that, right? Cool. So where I went straight to the Mozilla Developer Network docs to check out the speculation rules, which I'm going to add this as well. Because I was like, I wonder how the browser is going to handle it, right? So if I'm not using like Astro, or if maybe I want to do it myself, how would I do that, right? And so you see here it says experimental. I wonder when this was like put in. But so yeah, so this is an experimental technology. Check the browser compatibility table carefully before using this in production. So what it is, the speculation rules API is designed to improve performance for future navigations, right? It targets document URLs rather than specific resource files. So instead of saying, hey, go to like, I want you to, because you can like defer like JavaScript stuff. And so you can be like, hey, defer this JavaScript file or this image file or whatever. This here is the URL endpoint. So it's not just specific things within it, but the actual URL. And so makes sense for multi-page applications, MPAs, rather than single-page applications, SPAs. So, like it says, it makes sense for multi-page ones because with single-page apps, you really don't have like URLs because it's all within one page. Like the different pages, it's kind of like a trick that single-page apps do, right? It captures the navigation and then just kind of like same actual app, but it just renders the new page, whatever. But this is if you want to actually go to a new unique URL. Cool. So the speculation rules API provides an alternative to the widely available prefetch. So that's what I was like saying before with like the prefetch, because you could do specific files or whatever, right? Feature and is designed to supersede the Chrome only deprecated. I didn't even know about this pre-render one, the link rel feature. It provides many improvements over these technologies, along with a more expressive configurable syntax for specifying which documents should be prefetched or pre-rendered. So if you have like a file, like an endpoint that a lot of people go to, and you know that they're going to go to it, right? Then, and if it's like a large file, maybe it's like pulling a bunch of data or whatever, you could probably have that to where they go to their home page, and then while they're reading through it or whatever, pre-rendering that thing in the back so that it will then load quickly. So that's pretty dope. So speculation rules are specified inside the script tag with the type of speculation rules. Makes sense. The rules are specified as a JSON structure. So it's kind of like the instructions for it, how to do it. So for example, so you have that same script type speculation rules, right? And then here's the pre-render, because again, it's two different things, pre-render and pre-fetch, right? And so pre-render, like actually rendering it in the browser behind the scenes, at least I think I'm getting at. Source list, I'm not sure what that means. Probably have some more information. But then the URLs that you pass in. So it's no longer like, I want this JavaScript file or this image file or this CSS file. It is the actual page that you're doing. And then prefetch. So pre-rendering is actually like rendering the page. Prefetch is gathering the resources. And I think it goes into it deeper because prefetch makes a request to the page, right? And it brings back what's in the response body, but it doesn't do any rendering. It just brings it back. And then I guess it would render when it's needed. But pre-render does the request and it renders the page. I wonder if it does any JavaScript. Maybe they'll say, I don't know. So you specify a different array to contain the rules of each speculative loading type, for example, pre-render or prefetch. Each rule is contained in an object that specifies, for example, a list of resources to be fetched. Oh, so that must be what list means, a list of resources. Dope. All right. Oh, and they have like different require stuff here. So if you need, cool. That's okay. Again, this is amazing. So you're able to like make these requests. It's dope. All right. So each rule is contained in an object that specifies an example list to be fetched, plus options such as an explicit referral policy, which you see right there, setting for each rule. Note the pre-rendered URLs are also pre-fetched. So like I said, it's not only they're just making a request to the page and just holding the response body, they're actually rendering it out. So then they have this thing where you can check out more for the syntax. Okay. So as speculation rules use a script element, they need to be explicitly allowed in the content security policy, the script source directive, if the site includes it. This is done by adding the inline speculation rules source along with the hash or non-source. No clue what that means. I'll have to like figure that out as I go through with it. All right, now using prefetching. All right, so this is prefetching. Including prefetch rules inside of the script speculation rules will cause supporting browsers to download the response body of the referenced pages, but none of the sub-resources referenced by the page. So it only gets the response body. So if there's like a link to a script tag, it's not going to go and get the script tag. It's just getting the body, right? So none of the stuff in between. So when a prefetch page is navigated to, it will render much more quickly than if it were not prefetched because it has the structure of the page already. It just needs to load the different resources at that point. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's a little bit quicker. Instead of having to load the structure and then get the stuff to put it in, it already has the structure. That's why it's quicker. So these results are kept in a per document in-memory cache. So I wonder if you refresh, does it get, probably clears it out probably. Any cache prefetches are discarded when you navigate away. Okay, never mind. From the current page, except of course, a prefetched document that you then navigate to. So yes, if you're going to the page, it's not going to get rid of it. This means that if you prefetch something the user doesn't navigate to, it is generally a waste of resources. So again, you want to make sure that they're going to navigate to it. Although the result may populate the HTTP cache if headers allow. Oh, okay. Oh, so okay, so you can have it in the cache, so it's not just in the memory joint. So that will probably be less wasteful because it's kind of like using it for something else. I don't know. That said, the upfront cost of a prefetch is much smaller than the upfront cost of a pre-render, which makes sense because it's pre-rendering the actual page. So you are encouraged to adopt prefetching broadly. For example, prefetching all of the significant pages on your site, so things people always go to, provided they are safe to prefetch. And then talk about stuff that's not interesting. I'll have to check that out. So yeah, okay. So we do all that. Now I want to go to the pre-rendering. So including pre-rendering rules, right, will then inside of the speculation rules in the script tag will cause supporting browsers to fetch rendering, to fetch, like with the prefetch, render and load content into an invisible tab, which is and guys, just think about it. I just saw this other example where this application opened a new tab, loaded like a spinner in it, did its thing, and you named that tab like new tab or whatever, right? And then you were able to set the source of that new tab from your application so that it would load in that new tab that was just opened. I was like, oh, that is dope. I'm going to be using that for all sorts of stuff. So that's pretty dope. All right. Sorry. We're going to keep going. So yeah, and load the content into an invisible tab stored in a per document in memory cache, like with the prefetch. But this time it's the actual rendered page. This includes loading all sub-resources. So if you have like links, so maybe that's why it can do the client-side JavaScript. Oh, wait a minute. So does that mean it's almost like server-side rendering? Well, because once it's used the JavaScript stuff, oh wow, that could be pretty dope. But again, I don't know what kind of like performance cost that will give you. But yeah, this includes loading all sub-resources, running all JavaScript. I should just kept on reading. And even loading sub-resources and performing data fetches started by JavaScript. So you can even fetch. Oh, wow. That's pretty dope. Okay. Any cache pre-renders and their sub-resources are discarded when you navigate away from the current page, except for, of course, a pre-rendered document that you then navigate to. All right, so that makes sense. So further future navigations to a pre-rendered page will be near instant. That is so for like web components, this would be pretty dope because then it would just already have it ready for you to go. Oh, that is awesome. The browser activates the invisible tab instead of carrying out the usual navigation process, replacing the old foreground page with the pre-rendered page. I wonder if that can do with the whole see the transition stuff. Oh, I wonder if it mentions that. Again, I have to look more into it, but I just want to put this out there because this is pretty dope. If a page is activated before it has fully pre-rendered, it is activated in its current state and then continues to load. So even if they click on it before it's fully pre-rendered, it'll still continue. And so this means you might see a significant improvement because it's already started pre-rendering. Oh, that is super dope. And so, but pre-rendering uses memory and network bandwidth because it's rendering it. And so if you pre-render something the user doesn't navigate to, these are wasted, although the result may populate, okay, like I said before. The upfront cost of a pre-render is much larger than the upfront cost of a prefetch. So yeah, and there are more conditions that could make content unsafe to pre-render. Yeah, again, that makes sense because you want to make sure that's not some random like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah. But then hopefully you'd be careful enough to not, I don't know. But yeah, I can see how that could be terrible. All right. So yeah, so as a result, you are encouraged to adopt pre-rendering more sparingly, carefully considering cases where there is a high likelihood of the page being navigated to. And you think the user experience benefit is worthwhile the extra cost. Yeah, that's pretty dope. Oh, okay. So to put the amount of potential resource wastage in perspective, a pre-render uses about the same amount of resources as pre-rendering an iframe. Okay. I mean, that kind of makes sense. Okay. All right. But yeah. So there's a whole bunch more stuff that I need to like go into. But that's pretty dope. But so yeah, first of all, want to take a look at, the browser compatibility, right? So is it even worth it? Like you have all this stuff, is it even worth it doing if it's like only in like a little bit of browsers, right? But it's looking, in my opinion, pretty good. Only like Firefox and Safari don't really do it. And then Firefox for Android again, but yeah, and Safari or whatever. But still, Chrome, Edge were basically the same thing anyway. And Opera, and then Samsung Internet, and then even WebView on Android. So if you have like I have my, what do you call it? So if you have like an Android device and it uses WebViews, then it could do that. But no, that's kind of dope. But then it's experimental, so it may change. So that's for just like the pre-rendering, right? Which is what I'm really interested in. But then let's see, pre-rendering change event. See, I didn't, okay, but it looked like pretty much the same. HTML elements, scripts. See, all this stuff I need to like look into. So the types, oh wow, okay. So here in 108, but it wasn't until 109 that the type speculation rules. Okay. But then in 105, it had the pre-rendered key and the pre-fetched key was 110. Huh, weird. But yeah, that is that. I think that is super cool. This whole speculation rules thing, because I'm trying to think what that could mean for like web components. And just because it's almost like you're pre-rendering, because you could get all the data stuff, right? Like because it says you can, like it runs a JavaScript. So in your JavaScript on that page, you can have it fetch data, have it put into the page already, and it'll just show up. That is super dope. Holy crap. So, But then I guess it's only when the page loads, because I wonder if you can call it. Because it would be cool if, let's say, like, I don't know, a weather app or whatever. So you're on the regular page, and then you put in like your zip code. I wonder, while you like put in the zip code or whatever, you can have it go and fetch the information for the weather or whatever, and then bring that. So when they finish clicking it or whatever, it just shows up. I don't know. That's pretty dope. That is super cool. So bad, clicked the wrong one. I meant to stop sharing the screen share. But yeah, that's super dope. What do y'all think? You know what I'm saying? Let me know. That this opens up a lot of things. I mean, but I wonder what the fallback is. Like, what happens? I'm gonna look into that because it shouldn't do anything. It shouldn't change anything if it's not available. Like, I don't think it would hinder it, right? It would just probably ignore it. I'm assuming. I don't know. This is stuff that is kind of cool, and I want to go and check more into that. So that's pretty super dope. Because I mean, that could be some. I could probably even use some of that in my like upcoming projects to make things load even quicker. Oh, that is super dope. Like even my like I was just thinking, even with, well, it depends. It all depends. I mean, I don't know. I have to see. All right, I'm gonna get y'all back to work because I want to get back to work again. I want to go down this rabbit hole trying to find this person's email address so I can ask them about some stuff, ask them some questions. But we'll see. All right, where am I? Cool. I'm gonna send you all off with some traveling music. This right here is a track by an artist that goes by the name of Nujabez. It's featuring Apani B. The track is called Thank You. All right, so see you 15 minutes after the hour. Thanks again for the final break session. Probably take a look at an artist's website, listen to music, watch some videos, and maybe you'll become a fan. All right, so again, thanks for hanging out. I will see you soon. And until then, I wish you much productivity. Y'all be easy and peace.
But let me start from the heart. I just want to stay. I thank God for showing love to me. I appreciate this unique opportunity. I'm gonna rock so hard you never stop supporting me. I'm gonna show you how music is more meaning to life. I thank God for showing love to me. I appreciate this unique opportunity. I'm gonna rock so hard you never stop supporting me. I'm gonna show you how music is more meaning to life. But let me start from the heart. I just want to stay. I thank God for showing love to me. I appreciate this unique opportunity. I'm gonna rock so hard you never stop supporting me. I'm gonna show you how music is more meaning to life. I thank God for showing love to me. I appreciate this unique opportunity. I'm gonna rock so hard you never stop supporting me.